I hired a cleaning lady while my son and his wife were on vacation. An hour later, she called me in a panic. "Sir, someone is crying in the attic. It's not the TV." I rushed over and found out what they were hiding. My blood began to boil. My name is Harold Richardson. I'm 62 years old, and I live in Jacksonville, Florida. Spent 35 years as a detective with Jacksonville PD before I retired 3 years ago. In my career, I learned how to spot a liar from across a room, how to follow evidence wherever it leads, and how to never give up when innocent people need protecting. I never thought I'd have to use those skills against my own family. Gregory is my only son. He's 38 years old now, works as a sales manager at some furniture store, pulls in about $85,000 a year. Not bad money for someone whose college tuition I paid, whose first apartment deposit I covered, whose wedding I funded out of my retirement savings. He wasn't always this cold toward me when Greg was a kid. He'd wait up for me after every shift, wanting to hear about police cases. "Dad, did you catch the bad guys today?" That was his favorite question. Everything changed 4 years ago when he married Victoria Palmer. She's 35, calls herself a lifestyle influencer on Instagram with about 52,000 followers. Spends her days taking pictures of food, outfits, and their perfect life. First time she came to my house for dinner, she spent 30 minutes arranging her plate for photos while the food got cold. I should have seen the red flags right then. When they bought their house on Riverside Drive, I helped them out. Nice, 3-bedroom place, good neighborhood, nothing fancy but solid. I co-signed the loan and put down $50,000 from my pension fund. Dad, we'll never forget this. Greg promised me. Amazing how fast people forget. Once Victoria entered the picture, my son's calls went from weekly to monthly to just holidays. Invitations to visit stopped completely about 2 years ago. The house is always a mess, Dad. Victoria's got projects going, maybe next time. Next time never came. That's why I was surprised when Greg called me on June 10th asking for a favor. "Victoria and I are going to the Bahamas for 2 weeks," he said. "Could you arrange for house cleaning while we're gone? Deep cleaning, including the attic? We'll reimburse you." Think about that for a minute. In 2 years, they couldn't spare 2 hours for dinner with his father. But now they need me to handle their housework. Still, when your kid asks for help, you say yes. That's what fathers do. I called Maria Santos, a cleaning lady whose family I'd helped years back when I was still on the force. Good people. She agreed to clean the house the morning after Greg and Victoria left for their trip. June 11th, I drove over to Riverside Drive to let Maria in and show her around. The house looked perfect from the outside, but inside it felt cold. Everything was white and gray, what Victoria calls her aesthetic. Pictures of the two of them everywhere. Beach trips, fancy restaurants, hiking adventures. I noticed something that stopped me cold. Not one single picture of Ashley. Ashley, my granddaughter, Greg's daughter from his first marriage, before Victoria came along. Her mother died of cancer 3 years ago. Greg got full custody. Ashley would be 5 years old now, but I hadn't seen her in over a year. Every time I asked about her, Greg had some excuse. She's staying with friends. She's at summer camp. She's with Maria's family. Always something. I started putting together a timeline in my head. The last time I'd actually seen Ashley was Christmas 2 years ago. She was 3 then, just a little thing with dark curly hair and big brown eyes. She'd called me Papa Hal, and we'd built a snowman in my backyard. After that, nothing. Greg always had reasons why she couldn't visit. She's shy around new people. He'd say when I suggested bringing her to family gatherings, "She's going through a difficult phase. The doctor says she needs routine." Always something that kept her away from me. I left Maria to her work and drove back to my apartment downtown. I'd been working on refinishing a 1950s gun cabinet. Keeps my hands busy in retirement. The work usually calmed me down, but today, my mind kept wandering. Something wasn't right about the Ashley situation. In 35 years of police work, you develop a sixth sense about when people are lying to you. About an hour later, my phone rang. Maria's voice was shaking. "Mr. Richardson, I need you here right now. There's someone crying in the attic." I thought maybe it was a TV or radio left on, but I checked everywhere. "Sir, there's someone up there. Someone real." The words hit me like a physical blow. 35 years of police work. You develop instincts about these things. My hand started trembling as I grabbed my keys. Something was very, very wrong. "Don't go up there, Maria. Stay downstairs. I'm on my way." I made that drive in 12 minutes. Streets of Jacksonville blurred past. Traffic lights were just suggestions. My hands gripped the steering wheel so tight, my knuckles went white. Someone crying in the attic of my son's house. My mind was racing through possibilities, each one worse than the last. Maria was standing on the front porch when I pulled up, phone clutched in both hands. Her face was pale. She'd worked enough tough neighborhoods to know when something was seriously wrong. It's still going on, she said as I climbed the porch steps. The crying. It's definitely a child. I unlocked the door and we went inside. The house was quiet except for the AC humming and faintly from somewhere above us. A soft hiccuping sound, a child crying. Once you've heard it as many times as I have in my career, you never forget that sound. The attic access was in the hallway ceiling. I pulled down the ladder and climbed up, old training making me cautious. The attic was hot, dim, filled with storage boxes and Christmas decorations, and in the far corner an old wooden wardrobe that didn't belong with the rest of the stuff. The crying was coming from inside that wardrobe. My hands were shaking as I crossed the attic. Each step felt like it took forever. I'd been in situations like this before, finding hidden children, discovering family secrets. But this was different. This was my son's house, my son's attic. My son's secret. I opened the wardrobe door. Inside was Ashley, my 5-year-old granddaughter. She was thin, way too thin. Her dark hair was tangled and dirty. She wore a stained pink t-shirt and shorts that were way too small for her. Behind her I could see a thin mattress on the floor. Some plastic plates with dried food on them, a half-empty water bottle. She was pressed into the corner, knees drawn up to her chest, looking at me with huge, terrified eyes. I crouched down slowly, making myself smaller, less threatening. Ashley? Sweetheart? It's Grandpa Hal. She stared at me for a long moment. Grandpa? Are you real? That question nearly broke me. I'm real, baby girl. What are you doing up here? Daddy said I have to stay hidden while they're gone. Victoria said I ruin their pictures. She said I make everything ugly and nobody wants to see me. I kept my voice gentle. How long have you been up here, sweetheart? I don't know. A long time, since it got cold outside. Since winter. It was June now. That meant Ashley had been living in this attic wardrobe for almost 10 months. Call 911 when, I told Maria, my voice harder than steel. Tell them Detective Harold Richardson found a child being confined in an attic. Tell them we need immediate response and Child Protective Services. Now I helped Ashley stand. She was shaky, like she hadn't walked much recently. I guided her toward the ladder and carefully got her down to the main house. She weighed almost nothing. I sat her on the couch and got her water and some crackers from the kitchen. She ate like she was starving, which she probably was. While Maria talked to the 911 operator, I sat next to Ashley, and pieces of my world rearranged themselves into a horrible new picture. My son had been hiding his daughter from everyone, including me, keeping her locked away like some shameful secret while he and Victoria lived their perfect Instagram life. My granddaughter confined to an attic closet for months. Officer Chuck Wilson arrived first. I knew Chuck from the force. Good cop. Behind him came Sandra Davis from Child Protective Services. I'd worked with Sandra on cases years ago. She took one look at the attic setup and started building her file. Harold, Chuck said quietly, pulling me aside. What the hell is this? I filled him in on everything. The missing granddaughter, the excuses, the timeline. Chuck's face got harder with every detail. You know what this looks like, right? He said. Yeah, it looks like my son's been running a private prison. Sandra interviewed Ashley gently while the crime scene photographer documented everything. The cramped wardrobe space, the makeshift bed, the plastic dishes, the single light bulb hanging overhead. Each photo was another nail in Greg's coffin. They took Ashley to Baptist Hospital for examination. She clung to my hand when the paramedics approached. It's okay, I told her. I'm coming with you. I'm not going anywhere. Promise, Papa Hal. I promise, sweetheart. At the hospital, doctors confirmed what I already knew. Severe malnutrition, dehydration, signs of prolonged isolation. Dr. Jennifer Martinez, the pediatrician, pulled me aside after the initial examination. Mr. Richardson, this child shows classic signs of systematic neglect. Weight loss, vitamin deficiencies, developmental delays consistent with sensory deprivation. How long was she confined? Best guess? 10 months, Dr. Martinez shook her head. Children don't survive conditions like this without serious long-term effects. We need to run more tests, but the psychological damage alone. That night I opened my old case files and started doing what I did best, building an investigation. I pulled Greg's financial records using connections I still had in the department. The picture that emerged made my stomach turn. Greg had been receiving $1,400 monthly in survivor benefits for Ashley's care since her mother died. Every penny was being diverted to personal expenses. Vacations, restaurants, Victoria's shopping sprees. I traced transactions going back 2 years. Not $1 had been spent on Ashley's needs. But I found something else that made my blood boil even more. 6 months ago, Greg had taken $15,000 from my retirement account. He'd called me, crying about needing money for Ashley's private school tuition. There was no private school. That money had paid for their Bahamas vacation. My son hadn't just abused his daughter, he'd robbed his father to fund the lifestyle that required hiding her. I spent the next day building a timeline. Greg's Instagram posts from the past year, Victoria's carefully curated photos. Not one mention of Ashley anywhere. They'd erased her from their public life completely. 2 days later, Greg called from Nassau. His voice was controlled panic. "Dad, the police called us. They said Ashley was found in our house. What the hell did you do?" I could hear the panic in his voice, the anger trying to cover up fear. In the background, Victoria was shouting something about lawyers and lawsuits. "I found my granddaughter locked in a closet like an animal. What did you expect me to do? She's my daughter. You had no right to interfere." "I had every right. I'm her grandfather, and apparently the only family member who gives a damn about her. We were going to fix up that space, make it into a proper room for 10 months, while you spent her benefit money and my retirement savings on vacations?" Long pause in the background. I could hear Victoria getting more hysterical. "We're coming home," Greg finally said. "Good. The district attorney's office is waiting to meet you." I hung up and immediately called Patricia Collins, the best family attorney in Jacksonville. Someone who'd worked with cops for 20 years and knew how the system worked. Her office was downtown, one of those glass towers that screamed expensive legal representation. Patricia was in her late 50s, sharp as a knife, with silver hair and eyes that missed nothing. She listened to my story without interrupting, taking notes on a legal pad. "Mr. Richardson, I'm not going to sugarcoat this. What you're describing constitutes several felonies: child endangerment, financial exploitation of a minor, possibly kidnapping charges. Your son is looking at serious prison time." "Good." She studied me for a moment. "This is going to get ugly. Gregory will hire a lawyer, probably claim this is a misunderstanding, that you're overreacting. They'll try to paint you as an interfering grandfather who doesn't understand modern parenting. Let them try. I've got evidence." "What kind of evidence?" I opened the file folder I'd brought. Medical records showing malnutrition and neglect. Financial records proving misuse of Ashley's benefits. Security camera footage from neighbors showing they never took Ashley anywhere. Bank records proving Greg stole from my retirement account. Patricia's eyebrows went up. "You've been busy. 35 years of police work teaches you how to build a case. We filed for emergency custody that afternoon." Patricia also pushed for criminal charges to be filed immediately. She had connections in the DA's office, and Ashley's medical condition spoke for itself. The emergency custody hearing was scheduled for 3 days later. In the meantime, Ashley stayed with me at my apartment. The child services lady, Sandra, had to approve the arrangement, but my background check came back clean as expected. Those 3 days with Ashley broke my heart and filled it at the same time. She was so small, so scared. She kept asking if she was in trouble, if she'd done something wrong. I had to explain over and over that none of this was her fault. But Victoria said I ruin everything. She whispered one night as I tucked her into my bed. I was sleeping on the couch. "Victoria was wrong, sweetheart. You don't ruin anything. You make everything better." She was behind developmentally, couldn't write her name properly, didn't know basic things like colors and numbers that most 5-year-olds know. She flinched when I moved too quickly or spoke too loudly. Dr. Martinez had referred us to a child psychologist for trauma counseling. Greg and Victoria came back from the Bahamas the day before the hearing. I knew because Chuck Wilson called to tell me they'd been arrested at the airport. Both were released on bail within hours, but the message was clear. This wasn't going away. The custody hearing was held in Judge William Thompson's courtroom. I'd testified in front of Judge Thompson before when I was still on the force. He was fair but tough, didn't tolerate nonsense from anyone. Greg and Victoria sat at the defendant's table with their lawyer, some corporate attorney named David Brown who clearly wasn't used to criminal family court. Greg looked like he'd aged 5 years in a week. Victoria kept dabbing at her eyes with tissues, playing the victim. Patricia laid out our case methodically. She started with Dr. Martinez's medical report, reading key sections aloud. The child presents with severe malnutrition consistent with prolonged inadequate nutrition. Physical examination reveals evidence of neglect, including poor hygiene, untreated dental issues, and developmental delays. She moved on to the financial evidence. Bank records show that Mr. Gregory Richardson has systematically diverted $1,400 monthly in survivor benefits intended for Ashley's care to personal expenses. Over the past 24 months, approximately $33,600 has been misappropriated. Judge Thompson was taking notes, his expression growing grimmer with each revelation. Furthermore, Patricia continued, Mr. Gregory Richardson fraudulently obtained $15,000 from his father's retirement account under false pretenses, claiming the money was needed for Ashley's education. Bank records show this money was used to finance the defendant's recent vacation to the Bahamas. David Brown tried to mount a defense. Your Honor, my clients were in the process of renovating their home. The attic space was temporary housing while they prepared a proper bedroom for Ashley. For 10 months. Judge Thompson's voice cut like ice. They had financial constraints that didn't prevent them from taking multiple vacations while their child lived in a closet. Brown shuffled through his papers, looking for something to say. My clients love Ashley very much. This is all a terrible misunderstanding. Patricia stood up. Your Honor, if I may present additional evidence? She handed the bailiff a stack of photographs. Crime scene photos from Ashley's attic prison, the cramped wardrobe, the thin mattress on the floor, the plastic plates, the single overhead bulb. This is not renovation, Your Honor. This is confinement. Judge Thompson studied the photos, his jaw tightening. Mr. Richardson, he said to Greg, do you have anything to say in your defense? Greg stood up, his lawyer trying to stop him. Your Honor, we were going to fix everything. We just needed more time. You've had 10 months. What were you planning to do with more time? Greg's mouth opened and closed like a fish out of water. He had no answer because there was no good answer. Judge Thompson set down the photographs. I've seen enough. Emergency temporary custody is granted to Harold Richardson. Mr. Gregory Richardson and Mrs. Victoria Richardson are prohibited from any contact with the minor child pending criminal proceedings. Victoria burst into tears, but they looked fake to me. Greg just stared straight ahead like he couldn't believe this was happening. Furthermore, Judge Thompson continued, I'm referring this matter to the District Attorney's Office for immediate criminal prosecution. The evidence suggests multiple felony charges are warranted. The gavel came down with finality. I felt some satisfaction, but it wasn't over yet. The criminal case would take months to resolve. Patricia walked me out of the courthouse. That went better than expected, she said. The judge was clearly disgusted by what he saw. What happens now? We wait for the DA to file charges. Based on what I saw in there, your son and daughter-in-law are looking at serious prison time. Over the next 6 months, I watched Greg and Victoria's perfect life crumble piece by piece. The local news picked up the story first, then it went viral on social media. Instagram influencer charged in child abuse case was the headline that destroyed Victoria's online empire. Her followers disappeared overnight. Sponsors dropped her like a hot potato. Comments on her old posts became brutal. People screenshot her vacation photos and posted them alongside pictures of Ashley's attic prison. The contrast was devastating. Greg lost his job within a week of the story breaking. No company wants to employ someone facing child abuse charges. Their friends stopped calling. Their social circle evaporated. The perfect life they'd built on Ashley's suffering came crashing down. The district attorney, Sarah Mitchell, was a former police detective herself. She understood the evidence and wasn't interested in plea bargains. She filed the maximum charges: child endangerment, financial exploitation of a minor, fraud, and criminal confinement. Meanwhile, Ashley slowly started to heal. We moved out of my apartment into a small house with a yard where she could play. She started kindergarten, her first time in a real classroom. The teacher, Mrs. Johnson, was patient and understanding about Ashley's delays. Ashley made her first friend, a little girl named Emma who shared her crayons during art time. Watching Ashley laugh on the playground was worth more than any court victory. The criminal trial lasted 2 weeks. Patricia had prepared me to testify, but the medical evidence and financial records spoke for themselves. Greg's lawyer tried to claim mental health issues and addiction problems, anything to explain away what they'd done. It didn't work. The jury deliberated for less than 4 hours, guilty on all counts. At sentencing, I gave a victim impact statement. I stood up, looked Greg directly in the eyes, and spoke the truth. Your Honor, Gregory Richardson was my son. I raised him, sacrificed for him, and loved him unconditionally. But the man sitting at that table isn't the boy I raised. He's someone who chose his image over his child's life. Someone who stole from his own father to fund the lifestyle that required hiding his daughter. Greg was staring at his hands, couldn't meet my eyes. Ashley will survive this because she's stronger than her father ever was. She'll grow up knowing that when bad things happen, good people step up to protect the innocent. That's a lesson her father never learned. Judge Thompson sentenced Greg to 42 months in state prison. Victoria got 30 months in county jail. Both were ordered to repay the stolen money and prohibited from working with children for life. As the bailiffs led Greg away in handcuffs, he turned back one last time. "Dad," he said quietly. I shook my head. "You made your choice, Greg. Now live with it." That was 2 years ago. Ashley is 7 now, in 2nd grade and doing well. She still sees Dr. Martinez for therapy, but the nightmares have stopped. She calls me Papa Hal and we do puzzles together every evening. She's learning to ride a bike and wants a dog for Christmas. Greg was released 6 months ago on good behavior. He lives in a halfway house across town and works at a warehouse loading trucks. He's not allowed contact with Ashley, and that's fine by me. Victoria got out last month and moved back to live with her parents in Georgia. Her Instagram account is gone. Sometimes people ask me if I regret turning in my own son. The answer is simple. I regret that it was necessary, but I don't regret doing it. Ashley deserved better than what Greg and Victoria gave her. She deserved someone who would fight for her when she couldn't fight for herself. I'm 64 now, and raising a 7-year-old isn't easy. But every morning when Ashley hugs me goodbye before school, every evening when she tells me about her day, every time she laughs at something silly on TV, I know I made the right choice. Justice isn't always swift, and it isn't always perfect. But when you've got the skills, the determination, and the absolute commitment to protect an innocent child, justice will find a way. Even when the person you're protecting her from is your own son. Listen, if you're watching this and thinking about your own family, your own kids or grandkids, pay attention to what you see. Trust your instincts. Don't make excuses for behavior that doesn't feel right. Children depend on the adults in their lives to keep them safe, even when those adults have to make hard choices. In my 35 years as a cop and now as a grandfather, I've learned this. Being family doesn't give anyone the right to hurt a child. And sometimes protecting the innocent means standing up to the people you love most. That's not betrayal. That's what real family does. They protect each other, especially the ones who can't protect themselves. If something doesn't feel right in your family, speak up. Ask questions. Get involved. Don't wait for someone else to be the hero. Sometimes the difference between a child's life being saved or destroyed is one person having the courage to do what's right instead of what's easy.